All right, all right. Hi, guys. This is part two. If you didn't see part one, you'll definitely want to see that first. There's a free link right there in the description box. You can click on that, watch part one for free, then bounce back over here and wrap up here because I felt like it was getting really long and I wasn't done yet. In fact, I kind of felt like we just got to a juicy part. And so I was like, we better wrap this up properly because we see him in kind of like deep contemplation, right? We see him kind of removing himself or having been removing himself for a period of time from seemingly a lifestyle. He seems to be fatigued. He doesn't want to do something that he's been doing. I feel like he ended up almost like living in somebody else's plans and maybe getting a bit puppeted by possibly a feminine who had her agenda for, I feel like this could have been a friend, a business partner, a lover, all of it rolled into one. But there's definitely an element of her with her own idea and her own building blocks and her belief of what can be achieved that she would like to see achieved, but based off of pushing him to, we'll say, perform. I don't know what, like I said in part one, it was like with the music card, it could be, keep working, keep being like if he's artistic or something, keep going, keep pushing, keep doing the thing. And on one hand, it's great to have somebody who supports you in like your hobby, your art, your talent, but it's different if they are more or less pushing for their personal secret agenda. And it almost seemed like he started to grow a little cold, withdraw, and he started to actually contemplate, is there a reason that this, in this case, we have consistently seen a divine feminine, possibly, figure, oftentimes with like kind of a bob hairdo. She has it here in that reverse strength card. She has it here on the geometry card. She had it here on the faith card. She may change her hairstyle. She has it here as well. I wonder if there's a matriarch or mother figure who has also been like, hey, you hang on to him and keep, be honey sweet, but keep, pushing him to do the thing. Because like, if he keeps making that much money, you'll be able to build that castle that you want to live in too. I mean, it is kind of painting a picture of someone who has manipulated for their agenda. He certainly has withdrawn or become fairly cold, I think, as he's contemplated, why is somebody so supportive of what they think I should do and how they tell me I can, rule the world. I can be the top dog in this city or this. And I'm almost wondering if for a while, he was like, oh, this partner is really supportive. They really believe in me. But on the other hand, maybe there's another reason because it's starting to feel less supportive. I kind of want to wash myself clean. I feel like he does a lot of thinking in the shower. He maybe, takes himself with the Three of Cups, takes himself away and really wonders if the money went away or if the success went away, would this person stay? And I wonder if he's getting or got to a point where he started to ask himself those questions. Very contemplative. Three of Pentacles, Three of Cups. Both of those are cards of collaboration, cooperation, happiness, joyful, coming together. But I almost think maybe he's had a lot of people that have been like clinging on to him and his success. He maybe has been footing the bill for other people's lifestyles through his talents, his efforts, his hard work. And so his supposed supporters are actually maybe people that are benefiting off of him. And I almost think he's starting to wonder, like if I am tired and they're not recognizing it, if I want to pull back, but they keep supporting me, which is actually pushing me. I wonder maybe if there's a lot of relationships that I might want to wash myself clean of. Let me see. Let's get another one. He may think a lot like in the shower, or in the bath. That might be his one place of solace. There comes a time where when you need to make a decision that's right for your own soul, you have to be able to check in with your own counsel. And I almost think he's like, okay, if I block out the supposed support that I get from other people, and don't even worry, like, are they manipulating me or puppeting me to keep, keep working, keep doing this, because they want money. out of me, or they want a lifestyle that I can provide to them. Let me just take all that away and just say, what do I need? What do I want to do? We have the Merchant, we have the Soldier of Fire. Again, with that like continual, maybe this person's been a traveling salesperson. But look, this would be the Knight of Wands, which is a very frantic, action-taking, zipping around, doing a ton. A traveling merchant, again, somebody who has to travel and they have to always be, like, I think sales is a very strenuous career path, no matter what. You couple travel in with it, and I could only imagine how much more intense that would be. I feel like this is saying, I'm burned out. I am burned out. That's what this looks like. But let me see, because normally that would be somebody who's like, I travel, I'm really passionate about that. I'm wondering if once upon a time it was great. And we have the ultimate knight who stands on the top of the world. Again, we have all these cards where he's contemplating travel. He's contemplating movement. What does that mean? What is it that you're thinking about? I feel like he's been around a lot. I feel like he's traveled the world, different places. I feel like he's seen a lot of life. SS Washington, New York. And this is the element of water. Okay, so for him, there's an element of, yes, but where are my emotions? I don't know I'm a West Coaster, so, I don't think Washington, D.C., I think Washington State because I'm on the West. But obviously we have East Coast reference for New York. And of course, it's actually the SS Washington, like name of a ship, name of a boat. Maybe he's been in the Navy or something, or maybe he's connected to something militarized. Doesn't have to be. Or maybe we're just talking about where is home. I already said it's kind of like a New York skyline as he's, contemplating, like, why is it that somebody wants to be with me? I don't know if it seems like he's getting very thoughtful about if he's seen the whole world, he's been all around, and maybe he's narrowing it down to, you see that it's kind of like the arrow. Where do I really feel emotionally content? And it kind of feels like he knows where he feels emotionally content. So if somebody else keeps telling him, travel, go, 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 and he's like, but I feel best in one area. Maybe he's done being a traveling merchant. Maybe he's done going all around. Maybe he would rather be home now, and somebody's not like honoring that, not paying attention. Here we go again with the Fortitude card and the Ace of Wands. So hang on, because there is some element. Sorry, I'm looking for that other Fortitude card that we saw back in part 1. Yeah, so here we go a second time, right? So we had the Fortitude card in the reverse in part 1, and now we have the Fortitude card upright this time. I almost think that that is where he's realized, I'm living somebody else's dream, and they're pretty ferociously pushing me forward. They are the ones who are driven to have me travel a ton. They are the ones who are driven. They're not caring where my best life is. They're not caring where my emotions want to be. They're not caring about that. They have an agenda. I have been living under somebody else's dreams. And so because it feels like this frantic pace, whatever or wherever he's living, or the travel that he's done, it isn't because he's wanted to, it's because somebody else has wanted to. I feel like he wants to be home, and he knows where he feels best. He knows kind of where his emotions are. And I think he's come to that conclusion. He may, I don't know, there's something here about water, about maybe he wants to be in places that are a little cooler. I mean, both Washington and New York have some pretty cold winters. Maybe he loves that, or he loves places that have a lot of like water, like being, on one of the seaboards, the eastern or the western seaboard. Maybe he feels better around places like that. But it appears that he's finally put his finger on it. He's been living his life according to somebody else's goals. I feel like we have a very driven and kind of like unbending, in this case, kind of an unbending divine feminine. Oh, I don't know. She comes across as fairly cold, to be honest. Normally the fortitude card would be very brave, very strong, like you push on through, but there is such a thing as somebody who pushes too hard, especially when it's their agenda. I almost feel like there's not a whole lot of gentleness or sweet or cuddlies coming from this person, because she's like, you got to get that money because I want that castle. Look, it doesn't appear that she's doing this out of greed, though. It does appear that she is somebody who's like, you know what, you should push as hard as you can in this lifetime, make as much as you can, rise as high as you can. But again, that could be her belief about her own self. And if she's really, really driven, that's great. Drive yourself, don't drive another person. It just feels like she has seen either the talent or the potential in him to go very far in life, but then she's been pushing with her kind of unbending belief systems and shoving that off on him. It is backfiring spectacularly, as it turns out, because I think he's realizing, I don't even know if I stop doing this, would she even choose to be in my world? And I do not think he's actually master of his own ship. If we go back to what we saw in part 1, we began with these two cards. A king who is becoming master of his own ship as everything is aligned. Now I'm thinking that these are his thoughts. His thoughts have sorted out the query of like, am I really doing what I want, or am I doing what somebody else wants me to do? I would say he's been doing what someone else wanted him to do all this time. And he's finally saying, no, I think I'm going to do it my way. I do think that'll create a severing of relationship with whomever that feminine. I mean, we had a very consistent feminine on this side, through part 1 and into part 2. We have had a very consistent presence with the fortitude for her coming out twice, so she could be a Leo. We have the geometry card. There she is again. She always has like a short bobbed hair. Even here, I feel like this could be a matriarchal, like a mother figure who also gives her counsel, like keep pushing. Here she is again, and it was like a combination of be pushy, also be sweet, but try to get him to keep pushing so that you guys can build that castle that you ultimately want. And I just feel like it's become like her iron will. This is no longer a supportive partner so much as this has become I want you to do what I want because I want what I want out of your hard work. And I think that him understanding that now, even though I'm not trying to vilify that character, I think she would push herself just as hard, but I think she was pushing him. And I think he's realizing, I don't even know if she'd be attracted to me if I don't push as hard as what she wants me to. And I don't want to do that anymore. So we see him actually, his mind and thoughts are getting aligned. And I feel like he's about to become master of his own ship and do what he chooses, which could go back to that water card where we had the SS Washington, New York. He may say, no, I actually want to be home more. I want to have a little, go out on a little fishing boat. I want to do things a little different. And that is where he finds his true power. That's where he becomes the leader of his own life. That is also what leads him to a 2 of Cups. And ironically, an easier and more fulfilling life. Maybe because he'd have a true partner who supports him in a whole different way, have a good quality life. They could also discover that money flows in way easier than whatever this frenetic lifestyle he was choosing. Tell me about this 2 of Cups person. We have got Charity, and we have the Libra scales in the reverse. I feel like this other individual that he's going to, her name could be Charity or something like that. I feel like she has a lot of like, okay, let me give the contrast between the two feminines here. This feminine that I think he's destined to meet now that he is changing gears, I believe instead of being somebody who pushes and grinds and says, you've got to do this, got to do that, I feel as if she instead is somebody who generates amazing opportunities in her life by always being generous. I feel like she must give a lot, and that naturally she gives without expectation of what will I get back. She just naturally kind of like opens up her heart, says, oh, oh, that, you know what, I need to give there. I'd like to donate here. I'd like to give some of my time. I'd like to give my sweetness, my energy, my caring. She doesn't expect anything back. This isn't about the 1-to-1 ratio. The Libra can be all about balance, but she doesn't do anything with a motive of what can I get back. She just is generous. But ironically, that gives a ton back to her. So she may have quite a nice quality life, but everything that she manifests is through giving without expecting what she's going to get back. That's a big contrast to the previous feminine that was like, you grind, you push, you wear your armor, you shove yourself forward every day. You go get what's yours. You take your talent and you push and it just feels like this is somebody who's got like almost like a militarized mind of strategy and getting every penny you can get and building each little block. And if you do this, then you can get over here. And then if you do this, you can then get over here. Look, there's nothing wrong with being a strategist, but I definitely do not see this soft energy. She was fortitude twice. Whereas this Two of Cups relationship is coupled with this softness, this generous heart, this very abundant lifestyle that almost seems like it's based on, I don't worry if I'm going to get anything back for this. I just try to do the thing that I think is kind of right. I feel like she's got a much softer energy. And I'm wondering if that suits him better in a lot of ways. We have the Courier of Air in the reverse. That's the Page of Swords, but in the reverse. Hang on. This is interesting because I almost feel like either he doesn't know somebody like her exists, because this is not even like a thought bubble. He is not leaving behind this other lifestyle just so he can go get with somebody else. He's not jumping ship because he wants to be with some other woman, some other lifestyle. I do not believe he would even imagine that his life could work out so well. Because back in part 1, we saw him actually nervous about like shifting gears. And I kept saying, feels like it's more about business than romance. Then we kind of added in like a romantic context, but it's never been soft and romantic. The lifestyle that he seems to be about to leave behind is more for his peace of mind, but it happens to be leaving a relationship as well as a business behavior. But I don't think he could fathom that he would end up meeting like the love of his life, his Two of Cups, and somebody that is so much softer in energy that suits him so much better. We have a Three of Air and we have the Mayoress of Water. She is a Queen of Cups. She is a Queen of Cups who has been brokenhearted before. Maybe that explains why she is more like sensitive. Maybe that explains why she is more generous, because she's like, oh, I've been through some really tough stuff. And so that's why it's so important to like try to help others when you can. She has a scientific mind as well, not a strategist, but somebody who breaks things down and thinks about things both logically and also from the heart space. She really has this really open energy. How swiftly do you meet her? Let me get one last card here. We have got the Taurus energy and the Seven of Cups. God, I feel as if, here he is still with somebody who's been like holding on tightly to him versus somebody who's much more soft and romantic, more of a dreamer. How swiftly does he meet her? How swiftly does he leave the other relationship behind? He may meet her fairly quickly. She could be somebody who's a little bit like known in her own right, or a little bit famous, just because there's like looking at somebody on a silver screen, on a movie or film. He may encounter her or come to know her. But I feel like she's kind of a bit of a dreamer, bit of an artist, bit of a softer energy. But I feel like he's just naturally being drawn toward her is the amazing part here. She may like old movies, by the way. He may meet her at a movie theater or something along those lines, but she's very, very soft. That's what he's gravitating toward. Okay, that's a wrap. We're going to leave this one here. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribe.